Governor Kate Brown commuted the sentences of more than 70 people, all convicted of serious crimes when they were teenagers. Now, that doesn't mean that they'll be released from prison immediately. Instead, they have the chance to petition the parole board to be considered for release after serving 15 years. Fox 12's Audrey Wheel spoke with a family of one victim in one of these cases and shares their thoughts.
You might remember when 14-year-old Yoshani Vaughn was shot and killed about 10 years ago. Right now, her convicted killer is almost halfway through his 18-year prison sentence, and the governor's decision means in another several years, he will get the chance to appeal to get out early. Vaughn's grandmother says this is not okay. On a commutation order signed last week by Governor Kate Brown are the names of more than 70 teenagers, including Parrish Benete. When he was 16 years old, he was sentenced to 18 years in prison for killing 14-year-old Yoshani Vaughn. In the investigation and trial, we learned she was shot in the head and left to bleed out in his bedroom. Benete buried her in Rocky Butte. Vaughn's grandmother, Reynalda Hayes, says he should not have received a commutation by the governor, allowing the opportunity of a parole hearing.
If it was an accident, I could see something like that, him getting out early or something, but this was not an accident. He deliberately killed her, deliberately took her body and moved it, and had us searching for her, knowing where she was at the whole time. So he can stand there and finish his time out.
A spokesperson for Governor Brown's office says she believes in putting more emphasis on preventing crime and rehabilitating young people than on harsh punishments and lengthy and costly prison sentences. That youth should be held accountable for their actions, but their brains are still developing. Starting in 2020, an Oregon Senate bill allowed the court to determine if an adult punishment is appropriate for a kid who commits a Measure 11 crime, and if so, offers them a second look or parole hearing. That does not apply to prior cases, though, so now Governor Brown is using her power in two ways. In some of those older cases, a review for potential conditional release, and for the sentences she commuted, the opportunity to petition the state parole board for release after 15 years in prison. But for Hayes and her family, that's a painful and worrisome thought after their fight for justice.
So he gets a slap on the wrist, he gets released early, he gets to come home and do it to someone else's child. That's not okay.
Again, the parole board will be making these decisions, not the governor. This just gives them that opportunity. Hayes says she found out about this from us, but the governor's office says families will be notified of commutations and will be able to participate in the hearing process. Reporting from the mobile newsroom, Audrey Wheel, Fox 12 Oregon.